Hi, today I'm going to talk about the three essentials ingredients for success in life, which applies academically when you're studying and also when in your career or work or your vision for yourself. I'm a junior college maths tutor and I teach a lot of students, and I see some of the mistakes that my students made, and also what can help them like transform and become a better. I relate it to mathematics because I was teaching mathematics, but mathematics is one of the subjects that everyone will agree to be one of the most challenging, and that's why they hire tutors for it. And that's the same thing in life. Life is quite a challenge at times, right? If the same thing of how you deal with challenges in mathematics, the same set of mindset can be used to apply how you prepare yourself for life. And I will explain why this is so. Okay, to excel in mathematics, you have to make it a discipline to practice mathematics every day. You have to make it a discipline to do it every day, because you need to train two things. One of them is your logic. The other thing is your memory. Both have to be good in order for you to be good at mathematics. So if you practice daily, your logic is going to improve, and your memories of things is going to improve because you keep recalling. As you are practicing, as you make it a practice, you must not be concerned about the exam results. I have seen students that because they are too concerned with the exam results, right, they are paralyzed. When they pick out a book, the moment they see the question is like hard, and they will think, they will come up with the imagination about how they would see this in exam, and then they will fail, or then they will be scared, and then they will skip the question, and then they are not doing the right thing in their practice. Or they may be so paralyzed, they may think that they don't have enough time to study all the 10 subjects, 10 topics when the exam is so near. So don't let the exam scare you. You have to practice without being concerned about results. And it's just like when you eat, right? You eat daily, right? You eat 3 meals daily, and the body grows by itself over time. If you are concerned about the results or whether you will grow taller, then when you eat today, you measure yourself tomorrow and think that, oh, I'm not growing. Then you get demoralized, where you feel that I need to eat to grow taller, and every day you measure yourself and you get demoralized, and you find that you're not growing taller. Then you doubt whether you should be eating or not, or you should be eating something else so that you can grow taller, or should be doing something else. This creates a lot of frustration. We all know that when we eat and the body grows by itself, how tall we grow is determined by our DNA. But we have to eat in order to survive the next day. So we have to keep calm and carry on. We have to do the right thing regardless of the results. There's a percentage of results that is attributed to things that we are unconscious or we cannot control. So, but whether we can get a result or not doesn't mean that we should stop doing what is right? Because when you do what is right, result is not the only thing that you get. So for example, if you learn mathematics, you don't get A, you don't get B, you don't get C. But what do you get as you practice? At least you are making good use of your time as a student. You are training yourself, you're training your mind, you're training your logic, your memory. And as you do that, you are doing the right thing at the right time. Whether you get the result or not is another thing altogether. So as an adult, let's say if I'm an entrepreneur, if I do a business, if I work a job, if I do a job, right, I may not be the promoted. My business may not be very successful, but by doing what is meant for me to do at the right place at the right time, I'm making my days useful. I'm doing a practice. So as I try to solve problems, I'm improving myself daily, bit by bit. Whether I achieve it or not, it has other factors like whether I'm talented or not, whether the environment is conducive for the factors or not. We can try our best. We try our best to figure out the right path, but we shouldn't be overly concerned about the result, because if you are overly concerned about the result, it may paralyze us. We may think, oh, I have 10 things to do, I have 10 things to try. If you do business, you may think that there's 10 things to try. Am I trying the right thing? You keep thinking about left and right about which path is more suitable for you. There's a limit. You should put a limit to the time where you spend thinking. If after years and years you're still not moving, you're still not practicing, you're still just thinking what you should do, you're still choosing, You cannot be always stuck at the strategic stage where you keep choosing. You choose for 10 years, 20 years, but you never take action. You not have any improvement. Compared, let's say some students, right, the day one, they take out the topic and they say, oh, function is so hard. And then they switch to complex numbers. And then they find, oh, it's so hard again. Why not I do integration? Or when they are doing integration, they think that, oh, what if the exam tests you on differentiation? So they keep thinking which topic they should study. For weeks after weeks, they are still thinking which topic they should study. That's a waste of time. If they had spent the time just taking up and then from just practice and practice, they will have improved. Let's say if they settle one topic and then they move on to a topic, there could be they could have accomplished more in that 3 weeks than just thinking which topic they should study. So it's the same in life. Just pick a thing that you can do and strive to do it well. Of course, make good use of leverage on your talents. So just take some time out and think. Just take some limited time out and think. Don't think for every day. Every day you have to spend a whole chunk of time doing also. And then just sometime you should be, after the day, you should evaluate yourself and think, am I making use of my best abilities? Am I making use of my talents, or am I applying me on the correct path? But that's only one part of time. Maybe at night before you sleep, you meditate for about half an hour, 1 hour. That's one time. And if there's nothing, then if you have nothing conclusive, the next day morning, go back and then just do what you can do for the day. Until one day the inspiration strike you and you are very, very clear that there's something strategic that you can do, something strategy that you can change, and then you switch and perform another practice. But what I'm saying is here is practice is a discipline, and practice, right, is more important. It's more important. It's not, you should do your best and don't be too concerned about the results, because you don't want to panic. Because when you are concerned about the results and you imagine all the possible things that can make you fail, or you can be paralyzed. Right? Sometimes you find it very hard to make a decision because it is the outcome is too dire. You feel that it's too horrible if you fail, and then you get paralyzed. You can't do anything, or it may affect your decision making. So you feel so very lost because the consequences to you is too important. So end up you're unable to do the right thing. Just think of life as a game. There's a beginning and there's an end. Where at the end you can bring nothing, you can do nothing. When it's the end, everything ends. So during this period of time is the time where you can be who you are, who you want to be, and do what you want. So just be who you are and do what you want, and don't be so concerned about the results. Let results happen by themselves, just like you eat, and let yourself grow. You are being yourself, whatever your height is, whatever your face is, how tall and slim you are, that you are just being yourself. You do your best for the type that you are born to be. You just do your best. Of course, if you overeat or you undereat or you think wrongly, then that's a problem, of course. But as long as you regularly reflect and then just do the right thing, just do the right thing and forget about results. Okay, don't be overly concerned about the results. So that's you apply in life also. In maths, right, you just take a topic and make sure you do 10 questions every day, 20, 30 questions every day, which whatever your capacity, just make sure you do that every day. Make it an everyday practice. Then you will do well, right? Then the anxious boss do wrong things. We see that some boss are overly concerned about results. So when they don't get a deal, or when things don't happen that way, what they do, they flare up and they have a bad temper. They scold their employees. If people don't understand them, he whack them hard, and he go by the very hard and brutal method, and in the end it is going to spoil relationships. What they should do is just to evaluate and give proper feedback, constructive feedbacks to people, so that people can improve. Whether sometimes there's some employees that for example, you cannot correct, or what, you just think what is the right thing to do with this employee or whatever. Just do, but then don't be emotional about it. Right? You still do the right things. You may do the same action as the other anxious boss. You may fire them. But then the way you do it will be very different, because if you are calm, you tell the employees that, okay, because you're really not suitable, because we have I've gone through these feedback sessions with you and tried to help you improve. Is there anything more that I can do for you to support you in your role? If both you and the person feel that there's nothing you can do for each other to improve the situation, then you part ways amicably. It's not like another anxious boss who maybe scold the employee or slap the employee and then end up in court, or end up having a very sour relationship with the people who leave the company. So the thing is, you still do the right thing, that your based on your experience, your wisdom, that you can think of, but don't be emotional about it, right? Just be calm, and when you're calm, it's easier to love what you do and to love the people that work with you, right? So the next thing, so in studies, it means that when you're calm, it's easier for you to enjoy the learning process and learn and absorb when you're calm, than if you are in a panic state. Whatever you learn, you may not be able to absorb, and maybe very anxious about your learning process, and it is counterproductive because stress can inhibit the memory. It can inhibit your logical thinking. Like, for example, some intelligent people, right, when they are scared, when let's say they do the wrong things, or when they are angry, they do the wrong things, and then they reflect back, right, after the everything is over, and they reflect back, why did I do that stupid thing? It's because in that moment of stress, fear, anger, they cannot think of a better response. But after math, they may think that, oh, why do I need to do that? Or why do I need to do the wrong thing? Right? So that's very important, that you don't be concerned about results. Just do the right thing. Right? So the second thing is, sometimes we don't know what is the right thing. Okay? Sometimes we don't know what is the right thing, but just we do the best that we can. Okay? So then or you can get some guidance from mentors or people with experience, but if you have done your best, then leave the results. That's what I'm saying. So the second point is, don't remember question types, right? Just like in maths, right? We don't try to remember question types. Don't think, okay, to see this question type, I will do this to memorize the steps. Don't do that, right? Remember the concepts, the formulas, and test your understanding of them by doing questions. So you take the formula, and then you apply to questions. You can't try to understand which step you went wrong, which step did you not apply the concept correctly. What is it about the concept that you still don't understand? And then go back to the concept and understand it deeper. Practice with easy examples, easy questions first, until you have some faith and better understanding of the concept. Then apply it to progressively more and more complex questions. So it's just like primary school, when in primary school, we are taught to be, maybe honesty is the best policy. So it's very simple. In the primary school situation, everybody is a child, and it's very clear that to be honest means that don't tell a lie to a teacher, don't tell a lie to a friend. Because it's a very innocent environment, it's a very safe environment where you apply this concept. So it's very simple. Honest means don't tell a lie. As you grow adult, you have more responsibilities. There's a lot of interdependencies. Your actions have more consequences, right? Then applying the principle of being honest, right, will have some other things that you need to understand, right? What is the consequences of saying things as they are, right? So it becomes a bit more complicated to apply the same concept of honesty, but it doesn't change. The concept is still a concept. You just test your faith and your ability to understand how it is truly applied. It's not just the letter, but the spirit. You have to be able to apply the spirit of honesty and not just the letter of not telling a lie. So, and it becomes more and more abstract. Like, what is honesty in business? What is honesty in relationships? Then you have to have the simple concept has more dimensions now, right? And you have to know how to apply it in the situations correctly so that you don't get the wrong answer. So it's the same thing. So don't try to remember questions types. Don't try to remember situation like, in this situation, okay, I have to do this. In that situation, I have to do that. So there are plenty of situations in life. There are plenty of types of math questions that I can come up with to purposely trick you. If you have a very vague understanding of the formula, or if your understanding of formula is not thorough enough, I can create a question that tricks you into thinking that you are applying the formula, but you will get the wrong answer. And it's because your understanding of the formula is not correct. Then you'll get the wrong answer. And when you get the wrong answer, then you reflect, what did I not understand about this formula or concept? Some concepts are easy to be confused, easy to be mixed up, or easy to make a careless mistake. So sometimes when I say these steps, you do these steps, right? When I do the same questions with 10 students, I realized that out of 7 or 6, right, they were going to make the same mistake at that particular step, or when it comes to applying that particular concept a certain way. The mistakes that students make or the people make are often the same. We all face similar challenges. There's 1 or 2 people who are very sharp at getting the things right at the first time. And they may be sharp at this, but they may be blur at other something else, right? So the thing is, as long as we practice, but most students, as long as we practice, they come across this problem a few times, and then they realize, oh, this is the problem. This is what I didn't understand. They just need to fail a few times, and then they will understand. There are some students who they will fail again and again, 10 times, 20 times, they still don't understand. And it has to do with a lot of times it has to do with how regular you practice. So if you practice daily, by the time you do third, you'll see a pattern. The third day, you still make the same mistake. Then, or in the same session, you make a mistake a few times, then you have a strong impression of, oh, this is not the right way to practice. And it will stay with you for a long time. If you make a mistake and then you just let it pass, you do a question, a wrong answer, and you don't figure out how to do the correction, and then you just let it pass, you go on and do other questions. Then the next time you see it again, because you didn't try to find out what is your mistake in the first time. The test paper come back, you just look at the marks, you're happy, like 50 marks, 60 marks, or you're satisfied. And then you chuck the exam paper aside. You don't look at the questions you did wrong and try to figure out what is the conceptual mistake. So next time the test comes, you're going to make the same mistake again, isn't it? So it's the same thing in life. You have a mental model, you have some assumptions about people, you have some assumptions about what is the right way to deal with things or people. We all have some assumptions, we have some beliefs, we have some philosophies, we have some mental models, we have some ways of interpreting the world that we keep, right? But then when we apply these things in life and we get the wrong result, do you take time to think, what is it that I don't understand? What is it that I do wrongly? If you take time to reflect, you will understand, and the next time you're not going to make the same mistake with people again. Same thing if you do business or what, all right, if you don't get the results that you want, learn, is it because your product is not good, or is it too pricey, or is it sold at the wrong places, or is it that the way you sell it makes people uncomfortable? All this, figure out what is the thing that make it succeed or make it fail. Keep the things that make it succeed and get rid of the things that make you fail. That's the adjustment process. You can only get better and better. Your life can only get better and better, and outcomes can only get better and better if you reflect and find out what is it that make things fail, and find out what is it that make things work. And if you know this, then your life can improve. So don't try to remember questions, don't try to remember situations. Try to remember what went wrong or right. What is the principle in that situation? What is the principle? And don't try to remember formulas there are formulas that are at the surface, and there are formulas that they are core. So for example, at the core is we have good intentions for life. We want life to be good. And at the core is that we have compassion, we have love. And these are the things that are at the core. If we have this, life will be good. That's the core. At the surface, how you apply love, how you apply conscience, all this can change. The methods to fulfill this core set of ideals can change, but the ideal themselves do not change. So figure out, besides the formulas that are useful, the formulas are useful, but figure out how to the core, so that every time you apply a formula, you don't forget the core or what. So the more core the formula, the more applications it have, the wider applications it have. If it's just situational, so for example, today is raining, I carry an umbrella. This is situational. But the mindset of being careful or being healthy, wanting to be healthy, that one is more applicable. It applies to not just carrying a umbrella on a rainy day. It also applies to maybe choosing a safe location to stay, or so on and so forth. So always have a set of principles that you can apply widely, and also learn the situational things. You also need to learn the situational things. But more importantly, you need to know what are the ideal, what are the core set of principles that guide your situational formulas and applications. So those are things. So test your understanding. So if you understand, for example, you think that you understand love, test it in life, right? Test trying to apply the idea of love or idea of faith, or test them. So see how, if you understand it correctly, like if you understand how it is applied correctly, or fairness. If you think, okay, fairness maybe is your ideal. What is fair in life? Go and test it out in life. Like you think that maybe firing the employee is fair to you and to the company and the employee, right? Test it out. See if you get the right results. Is it really best for the person and you, right? Test it out and see your result. You may not know how to apply it at the first time. Apply it rightly. The idea of fairness, right? The idea of fairness, and when applied to philosophy, when applied to politics, when applied to business, we are not saints, we are not God, so we don't know what is the right thing the first time. But we are humans that can learn. So every time we have a philosophy, we have an ideal, we go and actualize. We have the situational tactics. That means we know how to apply to certain situations, but we not apply to other situations. We must also have the core concepts. And then from all this, then we consolidate our learning from each situation, and then have a better understanding of what is at the core. And then when we have a better understanding of what is at the core, and we know more and more tactics to deal with different situations, then become very good at it. So don't just remember questions, like remember concepts and formulas, and questions, right, or situations in life. Don't just see them as separate events. Don't see them as separate situations or separate questions, and try to remember every questions, or try to remember the method to every question, or try to remember the method to every situation. Don't just try to do that. Also abstract it, and extract your understanding, and refine your faith in your ideals, and refine your understanding and the faith of the core set of things. Use them to test whether you really understand the concept. That's the main thing. When you do a question, it's not just to work out the answer to the question, it's to test whether you understand the concept. That's more important, right? So if a philosophy or mental model don't work, figure out, don't dismiss it as a bad luck or just weird. If you think, okay, if you have a model about, if you have a thinking about what people are like how people think, then, but when you actually go and meet a lot of people, you realize that people actually don't think that way. A lot of people actually don't think that way, or actually a lot of people don't feel that way. Or then you have to figure out, what is it that you don't understand about human? What is it that you need to correct or refine your understanding about the other people, right? So and what is it about business that you don't really understand? So at first we may have a very naive understanding of what business is, and or how it works, right? Then we try, but we still try with our concept, and then when we apply, we realize that, hey, it doesn't work out the way I think it works out. I think it will work out. Then you try to refine and see, what is it that I didn't understand correctly. And sometimes you get the insights from some gurus, and you can speed up your understanding. They can tell you, or let's say if you learn from Bill Gates, those conversations between Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, or this like Ma Yun, Jack Ma, all these people, right? So you will realize that they have a very different way of seeing business, or politics, or whatever. And then you may suddenly get a jump in your understanding because you listen to these people, instead of like cherishing your wrong ideas of like how it is, and it didn't work out. But suppose it worked out well, you have your own model that works. That's good. Suppose it don't work out, then what's the reason that you're still cherishing those beliefs or ideas when it obviously doesn't work? Why not learn from someone where their ideas work, right? So you have to try to learn from them. Then the third thing is, okay, sometimes, right, life is very busy. Because modern life, or even actually in the past, right, everybody is challenged by the idea of scarcity of time, scarcity of energy, scarcity of resources. Because of this three scarcity, it makes it more challenging to succeed. But we see that there are people who can walk on a thin line. There are acrobats who can just walk on a string. Most people, if you give them a path, everybody can walk on a white path. They won't fall, right? But there are few people who can walk on a string. And that is real skill. If you're given a string, you can walk. You have good balance and you have good skill that allows you to go almost anywhere, even with a thin line, right? So that means if given a lot of resources and if you're given a lot of support, everybody can succeed. But not every time we have such luxury and abundance. So we must, besides trying to acquire more this and more that, more time, more resources, we should try to refine our way of work. Instead of trying to get more out of people or more out of this, more out of that, we should try to refine the work process. We should try to refine the system so that even with the resources or the support is very scarce, we still can do it. That is real success. If you can work with very scarce resource, time, energy, and you still do it, able to do it, that is real success, because then you can do it anywhere. With very little resource, you can do it anywhere. And that is a real guarantee to your life. If given a big path, only then you can work. If given a lot of money, only then you can survive. What if one day that you have very little money or you have a very narrow path to work? Then you don't have the guarantee. So the only people who can guarantee to succeed in life is those people who can do it despite a very challenging situation. But of course, we don't get there from day one. Like the person who can walk on the right line, a thin line or road, they don't get there the very first day. It takes time to train up. It takes time for them to train up until they reach that level that they can work with that very scarce opportunity, the very scarce path. So we have the idea is we have to improve. Only a thing that allow these people to do that is they have a very improved balance. They have a very improved body, mind, spirit, because they are so sharp. They can do it. So there are people who can write words in a very confined bottle, and then you can see that we can write a paragraph. If given a paper, everybody can write an essay in it, but that person can write an essay in a small bottle. So that's skill, right? That allows you to do more. Because if I can write an essay in a small bottle, I just need to carry the bottle anywhere. Then I can read it from the bottle. It's magic. It's magic if I use a fine glass. So there are a lot of things that if I can start a business with just one person, I don't need 10 person. Right? This is skill. It doesn't mean that you hire 10,000 employees run a business. That's a failure, because you need 10,000 people to do it, right? Because you can't do it by one person. If you have one person and you can achieve the same outcome as an organization with 100 or 200 people, why not? It's even better, right? Yeah. So the thing is to learn the skill. So then the third point I want to mention is to learn from the dish spinner, right? In this, I'll show you a video first, right? This person is a dish spinner. So sometimes we have so many things to do in our life, right? That we have to juggle. So when it comes to study, you may feel that, I have not enough time. I have 4 topics and every topic I want to get an A. So if you are paralyzed, you think that, I don't have enough time, then you're scared. Then you may flutter. But you see how this person, after he spin out the thing, he makes sure it is steady, right? He just calmly go and do the rest of the thing. It seems that he's very graceful. He's fast. He's not slowly taking his time. He's fast. But at the same time, you can feel that he's very sure and steady of what he's trying to do. He's being very sure about it. Every step is very clear. Because he's very clear about the step, he takes his time to do it. Not really taking his time, but takes his calm to do it. So you see, he knows the exact time where he needs to go back and spin the thing. He knows what to look out for so that none of the balls fail. It takes skill to do that. So in our life, we have a lot of things to juggle. So we must have this kind of grace to do it with a smile, you see? And he knows, if you know how to do it, if you have practiced a lot of times and you know how to juggle your life different areas of your life. Each bowl can be a different areas of your life. It can be a different subject, right? So you must make sure that everything, that when you look at it, you just make sure that one thing spin well, then you go and spin. Of course, you must have the right tools, the right methods, the right equipments. Then you can make sure that everything is running smoothly at the same time, right? It's not easy, and it is by design that these things can be done because they have chosen the right tools to do it. You take a simple bowl, a normal bowl, he may not be able to do it, right? He may be if he has the skill. Sometimes he fumbles. Sometimes you'll still make mistakes, right? Because you're trying to juggle a lot of things at the same time. But you see how he handles it gracefully and put things back up. That's life, right? So that's why I'm trying to show. So I just So these 3 key points. If we understand these 3 key points, right? These are the 3 key points that I'm trying to explain. These 3 philosophies. If you get it, it will not just help you in your studies, but also help you in your life. So if to excel in study, make it a discipline to practice. If you want to do a good business, make it set up a set of practice that you will do. For example, you may read news in the morning, right? Or you may even decide the steps the tasks that you need to do. You may evaluate the outcome at night and make sure you do this over and over again to make sure that you keep improving your processes and how you do things, and set out the time to do all this. Don't let it go completely random. Don't go by your mood. Right. So today I have a good mood, I do. Tomorrow I don't have a good mood, I don't do. But if 3 days in a row I don't have a good mood, then I forget what I need to do. So make it a discipline that to tell yourself like you want to achieve the goal. So these are the things that you commit to do on a daily basis so that you will achieve the goal. If you can commit yourself to that and do it in a disciplined manner, don't even care about the results because the results will come. 一日之计在于晨 means the plan for the day starts in the morning. 一年之计在于春. The starting of any venture, you go and do a good plan. Commit yourself to doing a certain practice over a period of time, like 1 year or 3 months or 1 quarter. And only after you commit to this practice discipline, after 3 months, if you still don't get results, after 1 year, then you come and reflect that maybe I've been doing this consistently, what happened, and you reflect that okay, it's something that went wrong. So I need to tweak this, I need to refine this, then I commit to the change for another few weeks or months, depending on what is the thing that you're trying to do. Some things you can move in very fast iteration. Some things you don't see results after 3 months. So you have to commit to at least 3 months or what. And then do that thing in a committed way so that at the end of the period, you can do a proper evaluation. If you don't even carry through what you plan to do, then forget about evaluation. Never even do it. What is there to evaluate? So after you evaluate, then you refine, then you go into the next iteration, right? So the discipline is more important than the concern over the result. If you are too concerned, you may be anxious, you may lose your calm, you may be moody, you may be inconsistent. So being too concerned affects you emotionally, affects the energy available to you, and will affect your consistency. That's precisely counterproductive. So you have let go of the results. And letting go of the results is also very important because if you can let go of your results and you just committed to do the right thing, then the people around you can feel very calm and steady also. If you are panic, the people around you also panic. Or you're anxious, the people around you also feel anxious. And that's all be counterproductive because feelings are contagious. So when you try, so you be clear, and after that you just do steadily, then people will also be contagious, and then they will also know how to partner with you and how to move on with you steadily, and that has made it a higher chance of succeeding at the end. So that's why discipline is more important than being emotionally concerned, right? And that's all I have to say. Remember these 3 points, and I hope all my students can or everyone who have heard what I say can understand this, can benefit from these 3 mindsets, whether in their studies or in their life. And when everybody is better, the collective is better, and everybody can live a better life with one another. And that's the purpose of doing this video, to commit ourselves together to train in these 3 mindsets and becoming better and better over time, right? Because this is at the abstract level, a very high level concept, right? You can use this discipline approach on anything that you want to do. You can use this reflection in anything that you want to do, and you can learn from the discipliner in everything. The concepts, the mindsets that I've talked about, the analogies that I've made, everything that I've explained in this session, right? There's a lot of applications for it, right? So just, yeah, that's really I want to stop now. Okay, thank you, and see you.